Welcome to this week's Hangout with me, Emma Barnett. Do join in at home. This week's question has got everybody talking. Should you tell your partner if you're having an affair? If you've got a view on that, do get in touch with the hashtag Emma's Hangout on Twitter using @TellyWonderWomen or contact me directly @Emma Barnett. Or you can email us hangout@telegraph.co.uk. Now we're talking about whether you should actually fess up to your partner, because this week in the Telegraph we had a really interesting interview with Esther Perel, who is a counsellor, a relationship specialist, also a best-selling author. And one of the big pieces of her relationship advice, which caused lots of controversy, is we need to get over being honest about these things if you actually want to stay in the relationship. It may harm the relationship more, this burning desire you've got to have inside you to fess up about the fact you've been having an affair. Now, does that sit well with you? It doesn't sit well with everybody. We've had lots of tweets in already, but as I say, if you want to join in, use the hashtag Emma's Hangout. Sophie Brown, though, does agree with her, saying, no, never. My mum has always said, if it hurts them more than it hurts you to keep it in, don't say a word. And we've got one from Angela Holdsworth who says, an affair should be a secret between you and your lover. Why upset your partner? It makes a transitory fling something more important. I think I'm a bit more with Alison Plunkett here, who's tweeted in to say, maybe if you need to have an affair, it's best to just get out of the relationship. Well, joining me to give their expert opinions is Sigurd Vedal, founder and chief executive of Victoria Milan, a dating site for married people, Jo Barnett, a dating coach, good surname, and Donna Dawson, a psychologist specialising in relationships. So, hi guys, thanks for joining me. Let me come first to you, Sigurd, because you obviously run this interesting website which allows married people, I know, not just to have affairs, they could also flirt, but what's your view on this? Do you agree that people should fess up, or do you think people should keep things quiet?
Well, I think, looking at all the research over the years, understanding our members and understanding infidelity as a phenomenon, what is clear is I've never found one way or one definition to what people should do in the relationship, because we're talking about individuals and a unique relationship. So we leave that kind of up to our members to decide, but we do have members mostly which are looking for a discreet relationship. They've been in long-term relationship, they've lost their flair, their passion, and they're basically still wanting to, they still want to be partner with their life partner and friend and best friend, but they're looking for that extra, that excitement, that flair, that passion. But we do also have, around 15% of our members which are living in an open relationship where they're actually joining together with their partners. So, yeah.
Okay, well, let's come to open relationships in a moment. I mean, it's obviously quite a controversial site for some people, Sigurd. I just wanted to understand, how big is your membership and how common is it of your membership that they're actually looking to have an affair?
Well, basically, that's the primary reason for why people are joining us. 25% state, of course, the primary reason for being only online. So they kind of they're looking to replace the standard classic flirt in real life, basically moving it online. So they join us primarily to get the excitement. They log on, they chat, they feel.
And how many? Are you able to reveal how many active users you've got at the moment?
Yeah, we launched in 2010, and we've now passed 4 million members in 33 countries, and we're growing quite rapidly.
Just wanted to get a size of this market. That's obviously a new thing that you're taking advantage of. Well, not a new thing to have affairs, but a new thing maybe to do it online. Let me bring in Jo Barnett, as I say, brilliant surname. Hi, Jo.
Hi, Emma.
And I like the fact that you're sitting in front of a bed for this discussion. It's very apt.
Yeah.
Let me just get an idea from you before I sort of get to the main question. Why do you think people have affairs? Have the reasons changed over time?
People will have affairs for all sorts of reasons. Some will just fall into it. They meet someone, they get caught off chance, and others will be looking for that excitement, that they're missing something. They've been with the same person for so long and they're bored. And I would say, well, you can fill that boredom in so many other ways. Does it really have to be an affair? I believe that we should be with one person at a time, and clients come to me looking for that sort of fulfillment, and that passion that they can have with one special person. So yes, I'm coming from quite a different page, really.
Okay, so I'm guessing there then, from what you've just said, you feel that honesty, I imagine, maybe is the best approach in this scenario.
I do feel that honesty is the huge foundation of a relationship. However, if you're going to turn around and say to someone, look, I've had an affair, and if that honesty is going to destroy them and destroy any chance of a reconciliation, that is a question. That is a question if you're going to continue the affair, or if you've made the choice of who you want to be with and who you want to commit to going on. I'm counselling a friend at the moment who's in an affair and married, and my intention for her is that she chooses. You know, that's the honesty. It's a self-honesty first.
Okay. Well, self-honesty is obviously something that you know, if you have to make that decision with what you want to do going forward, some people might not be that clear about it. Let's bring in Donna Dawson, as I say, a psychologist specialising in relationships. Hi, Donna.
Hi.
So where do you stand on this debate? Do you think it's important to be honest regardless, or do you think Esther Perel has a point?
I definitely agree with Esther. I think the problem with affairs is that they're parasitic to relationships. Without the relationship, an affair is just a dating. So you've got the affair already entangled with a relationship of some kind. Now, what are you doing? Are you actually trying to lead a double life, which is quite powerful and quite attractive, and it gets all the sex and infatuation hormones going? We know that. That's why people do it. Or are you making a protest statement about the nature of your relationship? If you want to end your relationship, by all means, confess your affair, because that will probably end it. It will certainly change it, and maybe not for the better. The thing about honesty is often used as a blunt weapon, in the same way as lies are. Too much truth can be a bad thing. And if you're doing this to purge yourself, to make yourself feel better, which is often the problem with adulterers and people having affairs, then what have you done? You've actually given some terrible knowledge to your partner who's never going to be able to forget it. And I mean never be able to forget it. You will have that coming back at you the rest of your life. So make a decision. And I think it's important to know, just before you teeter into that relationship that is an affair on the side, what exactly is happening here? Are you going to embark on a double life and think you can pull it off? Will you be honest once you get caught? Or should you step back and say, I need to look at my relationship to see if I can save it? Because there are people out there that I term infatuation junkies. They will go from affair to affair to affair just to renew those feelings of excitement and interest, and never really be able to settle and commit and be responsible in terms of their feelings. So you need to be honest with yourself about what exactly you're trying to do with an affair. So you don't think, if you've told somebody that you love, that you've had an affair for whatever the reason, and it could be, I don't know, even you know, just some people say just a physical thing rather than, you know, the psychological level, which some people say is worse, that the other partner will ever be able to get over it? Very, very difficult. You're asking something of basic human nature that isn't possible. We're all to a certain degree possessive of our partner. We're all to a certain degree insecure about who we are, whether we're attractive enough sexually or physically. To be told that somebody has kind of rejected you in favor of somebody else because you were lacking takes a very big person to take on board and accept. Some people can do it, but they will be in the minority. And in my life experience, it's not a memory that goes away easily, and it completely makes you redefine what trust is. How do you regain trust? Some people can never do that. They have to get around it by calling it a new respect and consideration for each other. The relationship will not be the same, and it will always be tainted with that memory. If you get caught out, confess, you have to. But if you haven't been caught out, I think it's time you sort of evaluated whether you want to carry on until you do. Okay, Donna, strong words there in the no confess camp. Sigurd, let me bring you back in. When you hear, as Donna quite, you know, aptly described, how powerful that knowledge can be, if somebody finds out that they're being cheated on, what it can do to them, I suppose I want to ask you, how do you sleep at night?
No, I don't think we're discussing the issue is affairs or cheating or dishonesty good or bad. I mean, we all agree on that. We all agree that dishonesty is bad and that affairs are bad. Yes, I mean, in general, it's not a good, positive thing. We can all agree on that. We can all agree that, you know, cheating and you know, being having this drive and this battle with yourself in a partnership has existed since we were in the caves. So it's always been there. It's always going to be there. So based on the realism of affairs and the drives in people, this is existing. The point is, okay, why are you having an affair? Are you having an affair because you want to stay with your life partner? You have other dimensions and values in a relationship. You have your children. You have a fuller package. You have something more in many cases than just this passion. So this is kind of what our members say is 73% they use Victoria Milan as an
I understand the rationale for it. I'm just trying to understand. For instance, Sigurd, if I met you at a dinner party, I mean, this is a bit like a lunch party without lunch, and you said to me, I run a website which, allows married people to have affairs, it's quite a big statement. I mean, how do people react to you about that?
No, we get a mixed blend of reactions to it. We have realists which kind of understand the principle that this is happening. 50% do cheat in general, according to various research. But we have, of course, it's not a topic that people discuss. And I actually realized that the dialogue I had with my wife when I was proposing to start this business, we actually thought about, we haven't even talked about infidelity or the need for attention among each other in 15 years relationship. It just is a topic you kind of know about, you read about.
It's a good way to bring it up by saying, hi, I'm going to start a business which facilitates affairs for married people. Let me bring in Jo. You've been obviously listening to what we've been going about. What do you think of the idea of this website that you can go and these other websites that you can go to start affairs?
There is the element of realism. I'm not naive to that, and I understand that there's going to be some people that just need that excitement, and if that works for them and they have it in a safe container, then okay, good luck to them. Overall, it makes me feel really sad, and listening to it, I'm thinking, why can't there be a website where you go to find your passion, find that excitement, work on your marriage? More of those rather than, well, here's to have an affair. It could be, it may not sound as sexy, but could we create something like that people would want to go to as an alternative?
Well, let's talk about our website startup ideas afterwards then, Jo. But in terms of what you've seen with your experience, are there differences between why men and women go for certain affairs or start different things on the side of their marriage or relationships?
In my experience, it would be similar circumstances. I don't think it's gender. I don't think it's necessarily a man's got a reason and a woman's got a reason. It's a general boredom, a general dissatisfaction, and looking for something else that's going to excite them. It's a bit like going shopping and you buy a dress and you love it, and then you go to put it on next season or in a month's time, and it's not so exciting because there's something new that's going to make you feel even better. So it's the next best thing and the next best thing, and I guess there are addicts that will want to follow these excitement hormones rather than do the hard work and make the choices.
But then you're defining the relationship as negative based on only the dimension of passion and this newly fabulous sex or whatever. But the relationship, at least among our members, is they love their partner. They are living a good. They're not fighting every day. They have a very good best friend. They have a very, very good life partner, and they have children, and they want to keep that. But then you have the other dimension, which is more the lack of feeling attention, feeling excitement, feeling that first flare you had in the beginning, which is driving them to us. And we've asked our members, 73% state that they're using Victoria Milan as an alternative to divorce, because frankly, that's the other alternative, is breaking up that friendship and then moving on to a new uncertainty, which they don't really want to do.
Donna, what do you make of that? Because one of the points in Esther's article that I was reading was that we're obviously living longer, we're staying together longer, and people who are close personally don't always have that sort of sexual drive to each other anymore.
Yeah, the thing is, I wonder if Sigurd ever hears from his membership once the worm is out of the can. In other words, when it all blows up, does he actually hear from them then? And do they run to him for counseling? Because it's great as long as it's in the safe container. But you know, nobody can sort of maintain that indefinitely. There's you know, too many ways that affairs eventually surface. The thing is, we are living longer, which of course our own personalities and natures as human beings have not evolved to keep up with yet. So yes, there is this boredom and there's the excitement of the new, and there's all these hormones that are driving us as well. Because once you tick those critters off, they want to keep moving. They want to keep being expressed. The trouble is, we haven't thought about our life partner. Are they also bored with us? What are we offering them? Nobody can offer you 100% of what you need and want in life. You're lucky if you get 60, 70%. So you need to be realistic about that. The other 40%, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to have lots of energy to put into affairs, or are you going to have good friendships and hobbies and outside activities and maybe things you share with your partner that kind of broaden your emotional well-being? So the thing is, we're bored. That's not enough. We're a kind of instant access society now. We want to go on and push a button, go on a website and find an instant solution because we feel we're all entitled to instant happiness. Well, life ain't like that. You know, there's another person in the relationship, and there's yourself you need to look at. How developed are you? Or what have you got that you know, may need further looking at and developing and thinking about in terms of your nature? So we need to be careful when we think affairs are the answer, because what happens is once the affair gets stale, that person becomes like the equivalent of another husband or wife, and they think, oh, I'm bored here, I need to move on again. So the constant quest is masking the real issues.
Okay, you talked about pushing some buttons there. Let me bring in some tweets. One that caught my eye here from Love Intelligence. As a love coach myself, I say the same thing as Emma when women come to me. Keep the affair secret. There's no point hurting people. Let me bring you back in, Jo, here, because I wanted to know, you mentioned earlier that you at the moment are talking to a friend, you're counselling a friend about their particular affair. Do you think it's become more or less taboo if you're having an affair to talk to your friends about it before obviously then making the decision whether to tell your partner?
Oh, that's very difficult. It's going to depend on the person. If you've got a very close friend, generally you're going to talk to someone because there's that guilt, and you share it, and then it goes away slightly, marginally. People talk to me because, yes, I'm a dating coach, relationship coach, but I've also been through a divorce, so I know how difficult and challenging it can be being married to someone when they're not your true life partner or soulmate. So this particular friend or client that confided in me kind of had faith that I've been through and knew what she was experiencing. And I think there's also part of wanting to share the guilt or share the story to make it a bit less heavy, you know, so she's not carrying it all on her own shoulders.
Would you advise anything specifically, Jo, if a friend came to you to talk to them about it? Would you say to be a certain way? Is it more just about listening? Any advice on that?
Yeah, it's about being there for your friend. It's also about bearing in mind there's a wider, you know, if there's a family involved, then really if you're not qualified, the best thing is to get your friend to go and talk to a counsellor to really work it through, because there's always two sides. So I would advise getting someone professional on board. You know, you can give advice, but just know that it's not necessarily going to be the right advice for your friend, because someone professional will work with him or her about what's right for them and what's right for their family, and that's something that I feel very strongly about.
Okay, Sigurd, let me bring you back in here. What about people ending up with people? Have you seen who they're having the affair with? Have you seen that happen on your site?
No, we've never seen that happen, and you know, I just wanted to respond a little bit to the other issues here, and you know, we have to define what is the affair and where does the limit go, and that's also very individual in the relationship. You know, 25% of our members, they are coming online and they're using it as an online flirting tool. They're not necessarily, you know, looking to hook up at a hotel room or go on erotic weekends. Not everybody. And also the other thing is that, you know, for my members, everybody has made the decision of having an affair. They've actively signed on to the site. They've made the choice, and this is what they have come up with. And our primary objective as a business, which is what we do, regardless if it's controversial, is we want to make sure they don't get caught. That's the primary mission.
How do you help them not get caught?
We give them advice, we offer tools, we use the technology available, and we invent technology to ensure that it is kept discreetly. And we also have information emails and even a team of live chatters and people who help them in terms of issues like, you know, how do you upload a photo to your profile and get a visual part on your profile without, you know, revealing who you are, and show them examples of that. We also have a panic button. For example, if a user basically suddenly hears somebody come down the stairs or something, they can quickly, and it logs out to another page. And also, you know, we know that a lot of our consumers forget their PCs on, so we have an auto logout function, which, you know, automatically logs out if there's no mouse activity within a certain amount of time. So we are actually treating it, I know it is a controversial product, but we are treating it like any other business. We want to know what they are looking for, and we want to really super serve them in any way we can.
Okay, super serving and the panic button. I mean, it's obviously a brave new world out there for infidelity. Donna, what do you make of that?
This is the future of relationships, the next dimension.
Yeah.
It's a lot in cyberspace. We sit in front of our computer and think we're omnipotent and immortal. You know, the downfall is not far away. I can see it now. We think we can get everything at the press of a button. I just think it's amazing. Knowing human nature the way I do, it's my study. We're going to be undone by it at some point. So we're playing with it. It's a new tool. It's a new way for the relationships to go. But ultimately, face-to-face, physical contact, understanding each other, and building trust and love is really the only way, folks. You might be having, you know, a little hobby here, but it's going to lead in the end to a lot of unhappiness.
Donna, I wanted to ask then on that point, because obviously there's different levels of infidelity. Obviously, sometimes the connection could just be online, and it could be kind of flirting as opposed to the physical manifestation of it. Do you have any advice or a view on, if you like, what's the worst kind of affair?
The worst kind of affair?
Yeah. Because some people would say, oh, I'm just flirting with that person. But actually, some other people would say that's a more sort of psychologically engaged of affair, rather than something that people just say, oh, it's a physical thing.
This is an interesting point. Where's the line drawn? Where do you begin on the slippery slope? I would say flirting online begins the slippery slope, because once you start flirting, you're open. You're saying, I'm able to respond to you. It's not really that far to meeting up. If you've done enough flirting online, you've seen each other, you like what you see, the next step inevitably is going to slide you towards meeting up. So I don't know if there's anything as harmless flirting, unless you're just a voyeur by nature. Most people aren't. Most people want to go that bit further. They get excited. They want to feel more of that. So the inclination would be to go with the flow. So be careful once you put your foot on the slippery slope. Be very aware of where it's going to lead to. You could end up on a very fast toboggan ride.
Yeah, indeed. Let me just read out a couple more tweets here. Kieran's written in saying, of course you should tell your partner if you've had an affair, without a doubt. I generally believe partners always fear that your loved one is cheating.
Oh dear.
What do you make of that? I mean, the idea that there's this feeling all the time.
Very idealistic, Emma. I would say perhaps he hasn't had an affair and been through the kind of debris that gets flung around afterwards. It's not pretty. It's not pleasant. And certainly in an ideal world, well, we probably wouldn't have affairs anyway, so we wouldn't need to be honest about them. But honesty is not always the best policy. Don't forget, you're hurting another human being who may not know what the heck you're all about and why you're doing it, because the problem might be in you. It might be that you can't settle in any relationship, or can't seem to see a way to fix the relationship you're in. So the other person is going to take the burden not only of your having rejected them, but feeling inadequate as well. So that's a double whammy.
Okay, so Donna, firmly, sort of wrapping up this conversation in the camp of honesty is not always the best policy in terms of having an affair. Jo, where do you end on this?
I'd like to suggest that people look at, you know, how authentic this is for them, because you've got to be at peace with yourself. So for me, it would be about trying to get someone authentically comfortable with where they're at and the choices they're making.
Okay, and Sigurd, you're obviously designing and very actively involved in the art of deception when it comes to infidelity. But on a personal level, do you think people should tell their partners if they're having an affair?
In general, I don't see a purpose except for the person himself or herself to kind of reveal her conscience. For the other side, I can't really see a reason to, because if you say it, you'll basically risk most likely ending the relationship and also have a turbulent aftermath. If you don't, at least you can still end the relationship and move on, and what people don't really know won't hurt them, at least when it's already done. So no, I can't really see a good motivation to say it. No.
Even maybe the moral case. Some people would say you owe it to your partner to be honest with them.
I think that's an excuse. I think people who want to reveal their get it off their chest would come up with. I think it's quite egoistic to, if you're already determined to kind of end the relationship. I think there's other ways to end it than necessarily get your conscience off your back and hurt the other party and maybe the children as well, which can hurt your future relationship if you have children.
All right, Sigurd Vedal, thank you very much for writing that off as founder and chief executive of the rather controversial service Victoria Milan, a dating site for married people. Jo Barnett, sat in front of her bed, good surname, dating coach there, thank you. And Donna Dawson, a psychologist specialising in relationships, thank you very much indeed. Join us next Wednesday at 1 p.m. for my hangout, #Emma's Hangout. Thank you very much for all of your views. We'll still keep collecting them beneath this article in our Twitter feed. So if you didn't get a chance to tweet at the time, you can still do it using that hashtag Emma's Hangout. You can tweet us at Telly Wonder Women to share your views, or at Emma Barnett. Should you tell your partner if you're having an affair? I'm in the honesty camp, but what about you?